Imagine scrolling through your phone, half distracted, when a voice cuts through the noise and says, "Stop everything you're doing. What you believe about death might be a lie." It's a startling invitation, the kind that makes you pause. Beyond that pause lies an ancient book written over 1,000 years ago in the remote mountains of Tibet. A text that claims to map the journey every consciousness takes after the final breath. It is not a gentle metaphor or poetic comfort. It is a guide, a roadmap for what happens when life ends. Miss its warnings, the tradition says, and you may tumble into confusion, fear, and endless cycles of rebirth. Follow it with awareness, and you might break free entirely. This mysterious manuscript is the Bardo Thodol, known in the West as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. For centuries, it has fascinated monks, mystics, philosophers, and surprisingly, even scientists. Its central idea is as radical now as it was a millennium ago. Consciousness does not simply stop when the body dies. Instead, it travels through astonishing, sometimes terrifying realms, inner worlds that mirror your own mind. And each phase offers either liberation or another round of life and death. Strangely enough, modern accounts of near-death experiences echo these teachings. People revived after clinical death often report radiant lights, feelings of indescribable peace, or encounters with beings made of light. Are these coincidences? Or are they glimpses of the same hidden terrain Tibetan masters mapped so long ago? The text begins by explaining that life itself is full of thresholds. In Tibetan thought, the word bardo does not belong only to the time after death. It means any transitional state. Every breakup, career change, sleepless night of uncertainty, or quiet moment between dreams and waking is a bardo. Life constantly shifts under our feet, and each of these in-between moments can open doors to transformation. The Bardo Thodol names 3 great bardos tied to dying, but also relevant while alive: the moment of death itself, the realm of visions, and the passage toward rebirth. Understanding them doesn't just prepare you to die, it teaches you how to live awake. The first great bardo arrives with the final breath. Imagine the senses shutting down, the body fading, and yet something inside growing brighter, clearer, more awake than ever. This is the clear light, described as the pure essence of awareness. Luminous, boundless, the deepest truth of reality itself. The teaching is astonishing. If you can recognize this light as your own nature, you can awaken instantly, breaking free from the endless cycle of rebirth. But there's a catch. The experience is like a lightning flash, pure but fleeting. Untrained minds recoil, frightened by the unfamiliar brilliance, and turn away. That is why Tibetan practitioners spend years meditating, cultivating the ability to rest in awareness. For them, death is not a failure, but the ultimate opportunity, the moment when all illusions can dissolve if you are ready. If this recognition fails, consciousness drifts into the second bardo, an extraordinary realm of visions. At first, radiant and peaceful figures appear, luminous Buddhas of compassion, wisdom, and clarity. They are not external gods, but the purest qualities of your own mind revealed. Meeting them without fear can still lead to liberation. But if you shrink away or cling to self, the visions transform. The peaceful deities become wrathful, fierce, terrifying beings with blazing eyes and roaring faces. They wield weapons, radiate fire, and seem to threaten annihilation. Yet these too are you. Your anger, jealousy, fears, and wounds taking vivid form. This is not punishment, it is self-revelation. The mind projects itself in a theater so intense it cannot be ignored. Recognize this, and you transcend it. Mistake it for something outside yourself, and you sink deeper into confusion. Modern psychology sees a striking parallel here. Carl Jung believed the peaceful and wrathful deities mirrored universal archetypes buried in the unconscious. The afterlife, in this reading, stages the psyche's deepest forces in ways we can no longer hide from. Liberation is not about fleeing these visions, but understanding and integrating them. Failing to do so, Tibetan wisdom says, traps the mind in its own fears and attachments. The journey continues into the third bardo, the space of becoming, the threshold of rebirth. Here, there is no divine judge deciding your fate. Instead, your own inner patterns act like gravity. Every thought, action, desire, and fear accumulated through life pulls you toward a future that matches your inner state. Worlds, families, or whole realms may appear like portals. A life of kindness and awareness leads toward brighter possibilities. A life driven by fear and anger gravitates toward heavier ones. Sometimes a flicker of awareness still remains. If you can stay lucid and detached, you might transcend the pull entirely. Most cannot. This is why Tibetan teachers insist that how you live today shapes not just this life, but whatever comes next. Karma, in their view, is not punishment or reward. It is simply cause and effect playing out across lifetimes. These teachings are not meant to be abstract philosophy. In Tibet, life is treated as training for death, but not in a grim way. It is empowering. If you know the greatest journey awaits at life's end, why not prepare with intention and courage? Practices are offered to anyone willing to try. Meditation strengthens the ability to recognize the clear light. Contemplating impermanence brings focus and urgency, making each day vivid and precious. Tonglen, breathing in the suffering of others and breathing out love, transforms fear and self-centeredness into compassion. Sacred mantras act like tuning forks for the mind, cultivating calm and clarity. Advanced practitioners practice phawa, the art of consciously directing awareness beyond confusion at the moment of death. This approach contrasts sharply with how many modern societies face dying. In much of the contemporary world, death is hidden behind hospital curtains, treated as a medical failure rather than a profound transition. Tibetan culture takes the opposite view. Dying is guided with care and dignity. In monasteries, a lama, a spiritual teacher, sits beside the dying, reading the Bardo Thodol aloud. The words act as a compass, reminding the departing soul of what it will encounter: the brilliant, clear light, the peaceful and wrathful visions, the pull of karma toward rebirth. The Lama gently instructs, do not fear the radiance. Recognize it as your own mind. Do not run from the deities. They are your projections. Do not cling to illusions. Remember your true nature. It is a striking act of compassion, helping someone navigate the most mysterious passage of existence. Imagine how different our lives and our deaths could be if we embraced even part of this approach. Instead of fearing death as an abrupt void, we could prepare for it as we would for any important journey. We could also live more vividly, treating every ending, a breakup, a job loss, an identity shift, as a rehearsal for awakening. Each transition would become a chance to grow freer, wiser, and more compassionate. Interestingly, modern science has begun to pay attention to these ancient insights. Researchers studying near-death experiences find surprising parallels with the Bardo descriptions: lights, feelings of profound peace, encounters with archetypal beings. Neuroscientists and philosophers investigating consciousness are intrigued by the idea that awareness might not depend entirely on the physical brain. While the Bardo Thodol is not a scientific manual, its exploration of mind resonates with questions at the cutting edge of modern thought. Could ancient meditators, through direct experience, have touched realities science is only now beginning to explore? Regardless of whether one accepts its metaphysics, the book offers a powerful psychological truth. Awareness changes everything. When we face impermanence instead of denying it, fear loosens its hold. When we practice letting go of control, ego, and clinging, we prepare for the greatest letting go of all. Death becomes less a terror and more a final adventure. Living this way does not make life bleak, it makes it precious. Relationships deepen, small grievances dissolve, gratitude grows. Each breath feels like a gift. The Tibetan Book of the Dead is often misunderstood as morbid or grim, but its real message is the opposite: to live awake, fully, and fearlessly. By preparing for death, you discover how to truly live. Perhaps this is the hidden secret the text has carried across centuries. It is not only a manual for the dying, it is a radical call to presence for the living. It whispers that life and death are part of one great continuum, and that freedom comes from seeing this clearly. When we stop pretending we are immortal, we begin to live with depth, purpose, and love. When we learn how to die, we finally learn how to be alive. If this video sparked new questions in your mind or gave you a fresh way to look at life and death, hit that like and make sure you subscribe. Your thoughts shape the conversation here, so drop a comment below. What did this make you rethink about life, death, and the meaning of awareness? I'd love to hear your perspective. Until next time, keep questioning, keep seeking, and keep living with purpose.